Today we're having a look at everyone's favorite weird town, Salem, Massachusetts. So get on your pointy hats, grab a smudge stick, and put on some Omnia. This is the top 5 things to do in Salem, Massachusetts. If you're anything like the rest of the 100,000 tourists who flock to Salem during Halloween, the first place you're going to visit is the Salem Witch Museum. Honestly, look at that building. That's exactly what you want Salem to be like. Inside, you'll find a gigantic open room featuring wax figures straight out of Walt Disney's nightmares, or maybe his fantasies. That dude was super weird. These grotesque and frankly comically outdated figures are the perfect introduction to this super weird city. A raspy British voiceover is going to tell you all about the 20 people who were hanged and pressed, not burned, to death in the witch trials of 1692, as the wax tableaus are lit in a circle above and around you, the conclusion of which ends on everyone's favorite strange badass, Satan himself. After the main presentation, you'll be led into a back room where a tour guide will walk you through an exhibit exploring the perceptions of paganism and witchcraft throughout the ages and the modern day. Pop out into the gift shop, grab some brochures on your left on the way out, and let's jump into some more weirdness. The reason people go to Salem over and over and over again only has a little to do with witches. This town really is a super strange hodgepodge of huge historical and cultural influences. Like, did you know that Salem was at one time one of the most preeminent seaports in the United States? Some people even speculate that had the witch hysteria never occurred, Salem might these days have a reputation for being one of the larger trade hubs on the East Coast. At number 4, you should really check out the Salem Maritime National Historic Site. This place features a 171-foot replica of a 1797 East Indiaman ship, a 17th century home, and the Custom House, which features a surprisingly fascinating collection of stuff surrounding Salem's financial history, as well as the office of potentially the city's most famous native son, author Nathaniel Hawthorne, who was, by the way, a descendant of one of the judges in the witch trials, which is probably why his work was so guilt-ridden and gloomy. Speaking of Nathaniel Hawthorne, one of the more interesting sites in Salem is featured prominently in his work, The House of the Seven Gables. This 1668 house is off the beaten path enough as to not be swarmed by the seasonal tourists, but close enough to be easily walkable. There's a gorgeous garden out back, an incredible tour, some super cool programming if you're local. There's even a black cat named Lucky that wanders the grounds and houses the reincarnated spirit of witch trials judge John Hathorne. I might have made that last bit up. It's right on the water, it's gorgeous, go check it out. At number 2, we're getting away from the witchy part of Salem and jumping right into the center of town. Lest we forget, Salem is an East Coast town, just a scooch up the coast north of Boston. And what are East Coast cities really well known for? Great seafood. Salem is no exception, and there are a bunch of choices for you. My personal favorite is in the shadow of the best building featured in the Salem classic, Hocus Pocus, the Old Town Hall. The Lobster Shanty is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's small, has some indoor and outdoor seating, a great staff, and the best seafood in town. My personal favorite is the Lobster Rangoon and Fish and Chips, although a close second is the traditional lobster roll. There's also a selection of incredible burgers if seafood isn't your thing. Some of my favorite memories from Salem have happened on the patio at the Lobster Shanty with a cold glass of beer. Whether you're in town for the Halloween season or not, this famous little spot is my go-to whenever I'm in Salem, and you should definitely check it out. Okay, you're watching this channel. That means you probably like weird things. I like weird things too. So let's get honest with each other. So far we've covered witch history, maritime history, an old house immortalized in fiction, and the best spot for seafood in the area. But what's the reason we really go to Salem? If it's on Halloween, it's to party with the other weirdos, of course, but if you're drawn to the city itself, it's probably because Salem is a nexus. Some pagan people say it's literally a ley line for crazy energy. The city draws all manner of off-center people, and many of them end up setting up shop here. And in my opinion, the queen of these modern witchy entrepreneurs is Laurie Cabot. If you've ever visited Salem and loved all the contemporary witchy shops and pagan flair, you have Cabot to thank. She arrived in the early 1970s in a time when there were no New Age shops and the climate was definitely not friendly to the idea of one. Enter Cabot. She set up a shop, and a few years later she moved it to Essex Street in the heart of Salem. She then renamed her little spot Crowhaven Corner, and guess what? it's still there. And it is by far my favorite witch shop in town. I mean, there are other close contenders. Pyramid Books and the Coven's Cottage come in a close second and third, and you should definitely check those out too if you can. But there's something about Crowhaven Corner. If you're tall like me, you're going to find yourself ducking around a lot to avoid the various talismans and art pieces hanging from the ceiling, but that's all part of the charm. In this cozy old house, you can get a reading, sample some herbs, oils, and incense, and all the other things you would expect from a witch shop in Salem. Crucially though, you can also check out the Salem Witch Walk, which is one of, and in my opinion, the best guided tours in Salem. Take a walk on this tour and you'll get to participate in an actual pagan ritual led by an active practitioner, as well as get introduced to a few witchy spots around town. This is the perfect ending addendum to the 1692 experience you got at the Salem Witch Museum, and I think it rounds out your Salem visit with a bit of contemporary lore. Crowhaven Corner is on my must-visit list every time I'm in Salem, and it is staffed by some of the friendliest and most knowledgeable staff members in town. Be absolutely sure to stop by this shop, whether you're in town for Halloween or the off-season. That's all for today, weirdos. What's your favorite place in Salem if you've been? What place are you looking forward to going to the most if you haven't been? Leave it in the comments below. I want to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe for more strange videos, and please spread the word to all your odd friends. My name's Joel, and is that a cat dancing behind you?